the home of the common Joe and the common Sally in the know, even more so than all those media talking heads. Looks like I'm not the only one that's been thinking ahead. A lot of people been giving me hell in my Alabama fan base for even suggesting or posing the question of who's going to succeed Nick Saban. I'm not saying he's going to leave this year, and I'm not wishing him away. But Paul Finebaum today broached the subject as well. And he named a few candidates who he thought might take over for Nick Saban within the next 3 years. Let's talk about it. Well. Here we go again. Got another episode of OCF. See that hat hanging on the wall. I am JPC. And like I said, this is the Outlaw of college football. That's the name of this great show that you common Joes and Sallies in the know have made it such as so. And today I want to talk about Paul Finebaum making mention of possible replacements for Nick Saban when he retires from the University of Alabama. Now, in the past, I have made these suggestions before. A lot of my Alabama fans get angry at me. It's like, well, why are you even talking about that? Why are you even suggesting that? I'm not saying that he's leaving within the next year or two. I'm just saying maybe 3 years down the road, who do you think would be a good replacement? Well, Paul Finebaum broached that subject yesterday. And Paul Finebaum said that he thought that the leading candidates would be Mario Cristobal, Billy Napier, and there's one more that he mentioned. But mainly, it was those two that he was really pushing, was Mario Cristobal and Billy Napier. And he also mentioned, Bill O'Brien, the offensive coordinator at Alabama, who's actually had a lengthy head coaching experience. Well, not really lengthy, but he's had pretty good head coaching experience at Penn State and at the Houston Texans. So in my opinion, if it were to happen in the next 2 or 3 years, I could see Bill O'Brien taking over for Nick Saban. It would probably be a smoother transition for him. Bill O'Brien's offenses, while they haven't been prolific like a Lane Kiffin offense or a Steve Sarkisian type offense, his offenses are good enough in that they do what they need to do. And the one thing I do like about Bill O'Brien's offensive philosophy is the fact that it does lend to giving your defense a little bit of rest. Some of these offenses, they put up a good amount of points. They put up 40, 50 points a game, but they put their defense back up out on the field so quickly that the defense is not rested, and therefore they start giving up more points. It ain't that your defense is that bad. It's just that they're getting no rest whatsoever, and you're bound to give up points at that point, no matter how good your defense is. It could be the steel curtain from the Pittsburgh years in the 1970s, and if they were put on the field after they just stopped a team and you go down and score within 2 minutes, they didn't get much rest. So you're going to give up points. And that's why I do like Bill O'Brien's offensive philosophy just a little bit better, because it does give your defense a little bit more time to rest. And Billy Napier, who he suggested, who just got to Florida, and Mario Cristobal, to me, both of those guys, I'm not sure if they would come to Alabama, just because they might see it as a lateral move. Now, the Florida job, I definitely would see somewhat as a lateral move, because Florida's probably got monies that could match Alabama's. Mario Cristobal is not really a lateral move, but the caveat in all that is Mario Cristobal is from Miami. His mother, who is a lot older and not in the greatest health from what I understand, she lives in Miami. So I just don't see those two. I know Paul Finebaum, sometimes he thinks he's the man, but Here lately, he's been slipping. I'll be quite honest with you. He's just throwing shit against the wall. What made his list invalid to me was the obvious. The Captain Obvious pick is Dabo Swinney. We all know that. We all know that unless Dabo's pissed off the University of Alabama alumni or the boosters or the administration in some way that I don't know of, he's going to be the first person to call. And for Paul Finebaum not to even list him as a candidate makes me question Paul Finebaum's validity a little bit. And maybe he's getting up in years and maybe he's losing his noodle just a little bit. Now, outside of those candidates that we just talked about, Bill O'Brien, Dabo Swinney, Billy Napier, Mario Cristobal, all those guys, who else out there would Alabama consider, in you guys and gals' opinion? Now, there's a lot of outside-the-box candidates that I like, that me and my podcast partner, Jonathan Lewis, like. The one that me and him both sort of like is Kyle Whittingham of Utah because of the work that he's done there. He took them from a non-Power 5 school to a Power 5 school, competing on a national basis, and then won a Power 5 championship in the Pac-12, although the Pac-12 may no longer cease to exist. If the Big Ten Alliance keeps raiding the hell out of them after they said, we're not going to take nobody's teams from the ACC or the Pac-12 or the Big Ten. We're not going to raid each other. I mean, you can see that shit went by the wayside quickly. But back to the topic at hand, outside of those candidates that I just mentioned, and Kyle Whittingham, who would y'all put in the mix outside of those? There's numerous other guys that Alabama may consider, especially if they're still doing rather well. But 3 years down the road, it's sort of hard to call. Like I said, if it was an immediate retirement, if he were like to quit after this year or 2 years from now, I really think Bill O'Brien or Dabo Swinney would be the leading two candidates that they'd go after. But, some people have actually mentioned Sam Pittman because he's done a good job at Arkansas. But once again, that's an SEC school. Would he make that lateral move? Now, it's a little bit lesser of an SEC school here as of late. So he may make that move. And then, of course, there's Lane Kiffin. A lot of people would like to see Alabama go after Lane Kiffin. Me personally, I like Lane Kiffin. I think he's pretty funny, but he's still got a little maturing to do when it comes to offensive play calling, going forward on 4th down and 20 or whatever it was he's doing last year. But Lane Kiffin, I think, also rubbed some people the wrong way when he was here at the University of Alabama's offensive coordinators. He had a little nickname. They called him Joey. His alias was Joey Freshwater. He used to go out on campus using that alias and trying to pick up co-eds and whatnot. We all know that Lane Kiffin is a womanizer, and that might be the only thing that keeps Lane from being considered seriously is his dabblings in what they consider immoral kind of stuff. But that's all I got as far as candidates goes, and just the ones that Paul Finebaum mentioned. Like I said, once again, drop it in the comment section. Tell me what you think. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And as always, KMCA to all the other teams. Class is now dismissed.